Hello and welcome to A Day in the Life of Erin Lane Moffat. That's me, and from what I hear, it's always more interesting coming from other people. So as you know, I figure I'd start a YouTube channel so that you could let me know. However, nobody's really been commenting much, but feel free. You can also, if you watch this, you can click the like as well as comment. I just want you to know you can do that. A little about me, if you don't already know, as I always tell you guys, I am a mother of 2 children. They are beautiful daughters, fearfully and wonderfully made. And I am a network marketer and a gold and silver stacker. So, since I'm gold and silver stacking talking woman, I decided to talk about collecting today. And that has been part of my leading into not being the irresponsible woman that I have mentioned that I have been in the past, going into the responsible realm, learning things. I gotta learn things. I'm gonna learn about all this silver I'm stacking. I gotta learn what it means to collect it. So it's a different thing I'm gonna tell you. So here are some things to know about collecting, as many people seem to be very unsure, especially when it comes to precious metals, because they have a value as money, unlike baseball cards, comic books, toys, etc. So stacking silver is not always the same as collecting. Silver stacking is what collectors and investors call the act of stockpiling silver. So that's literally buying, could be bullion, coins, rounds, bars, and so on, stacking it in a safe perhaps. Generally, stockpiling isn't for collectors' purposes, but more for protection or wealth accumulation. A collector is a person who collects things of a specified type, whether it's a profession or a hobby. So most people don't do this as a profession, but some do. You know, art collectors and stuff, it could be a profession for them. Most of us have collected things as a hobby. In fact, almost everyone in the world has collected something in their lifetime. So why not learn how to collect something of value outside of its collectability as well as in? So here's the common ways to collect precious metals. Think about it like this. If you have ever collected anything ever, what made that collectible valuable? Usually it is what you're collecting, like a baseball card or a comic book or stamps or Barbies or whatever it is. Unicorns, maybe. Let's just talk baseball cards because I happen to have one right here. So we know that who is on the card makes it more valuable. If it's a player you love, or if it's a player everybody loves, it's going to be more valuable. We know that the condition of the card makes it worth more. This one not being in very good condition, because I don't get into baseball, I just happen to have this card. We know that there's also a population situation, like how many of Jesse Barfield were there made, in the year of 1980 or something. Anyway, and sometimes they'll have like how many of them population indicator, and if it's in a good condition, right, they'll put it in like a nice little sealed deal and probably give it a number. So sometimes there's also other marketing strategies like special edition and limited edition and so on, and that's what makes your collectible more valuable, right? So the collectability, aka valuable. So when it comes to coins, collecting isn't all that different. If we take away the fact that gold and silver have intrinsic value already, I believe people could have a better understanding of a collector's point of view, because there's collectors out there already. If you're not one, you might not have a clue why they're doing it, but you should, because you might want to be one, or you might want to be able to talk to them. So unlike a baseball card, that without the image of the player, people's love for the player, etc., the card would be worthless paper. Kind of like the dollar. But I would digress. I won't go into that tonight. In coin collecting, there are common collection themes, and here they are for you. The country that minted the coin, whether it's the US, the United States, it'll say United States Mint, or it could be the Perth Mint, which is in Australia. It'll say. So that matters to people. Some people want it to say US only. Some people don't care. The time period, obviously an older coin. I don't have any terribly old coins. I have a 1986. That's the oldest coin I have. But obviously a 1901 Morgan, if you don't know, here's a collectability thing. A 1901 Morgan would be worth $40 if you were just carrying it around in your pocket, loose change. If you were able to get it graded and you'd kept it in a good condition, you'd put it safely away, and it was at least MS64. This is a grading scale we'll talk about later. and I won't go too deep, and I'll give you guys a link to the website, but if it was MS64, instead of $40, it would be a $400,000 coin. That's collecting, okay? Time period and date. All right, so mint mark and minted collection coins such as proofs, uncirculated, mint says blah, blah, blah. What does that mean? Proofs, I don't have any. But this is an uncirculated coin. It's called mint state 70, which means it's in the most perfect condition it can be. It hasn't been touched, dinged. There's no bag marks, which means it didn't ding another coin in a bag. There's no fingerprints on it. It's in perfect condition. Therefore, this company who does grading, which is a highly reputable company, vacuum sealed it, gave it an identification number, and that adds value over time. Okay, so that's what that means. Condition of a coin, like I was just saying, that's called the Sheldon grading scale from 1 to 70. So basically 70 being absolutely perfect, 1 being I don't know what the hell this coin is. Okay, so there's also typesets. A typeset is a coin collection based on a coin design or type. Typesets are more popular for practicality, and therefore they are more common among younger or less wealthy coin collectors. It's for fun. It's nothing bad about it. It's just different. It's not wealth accumulation. Also subjects, historical events, geopolitical movements, aesthetics, denomination, da da da. So obviously Trump would be kind of considered an historical event. Another thing might be like Marvel Comics. You know, they're going to have kind of it's a subject. It could be a series, but it's also a subject. And then commemoratives, which I have here. I just showed it to you. This one's a commemorative. So that's going to have a little bit more value than if it was just made for that year. And then there's a printed value, collectability, like a $20 gold coin versus a $50 gold coin. Obviously, there's a significant price difference. Then there's series. You've got Darth Vader that comes out every year. You've got the silverback, the Chinese dragons, the koalas, obviously the silver eagle. I'm just showing off my stack, you know, don't mind me, you know, the panda. Now there's a silver Krugerrand that comes out every year, besides that commemorative. Canadian maple leaf, lioness. So there's a lot of stuff like a series that comes out. That's those, as far as collectability, something in it, you know, like this, very, very wildly popular amongst collectors. And I'll mention that again on population, which is the next thing, population and rarity. So if there's only so many of these made and you didn't get one and now they're not circulated anymore, the price goes up significantly based on demand. I mean, if you know there's no demand, it's not going to go up, but there's always going to be demand. For instance, Spider-Man is a population total, not including, I'm talking all of them that were printed for the year. Every single one that was printed in 2017, 50,000. That's not a lot, only 50,000. Not very many were perfect enough to be vacuum sealed and given an identification number. So really, just to make a short story long, last thing, errors and misstrikes. This is so complicated. There's so much to it that I was getting confused looking into it. And so there are known misstrikes, there are known errors because they are really, really rare. But if you go through any of your old coins, go to the websites I'm going to put in the bio, because you're going to really want to find out if they're anything like this, because they're selling for $1 million or more. I mean, they're like, these are things that are crazy. So these are usually recycled before leaving the mints, but some make it into circulation, and those that do are highly collectible. They are mighty rare, like me, almost a unicorn. The three major categories called the PDS cataloging system was compiled by Alan Herbert in 1971. PDS being planchet errors, die errors, and striking errors. What are those? I'm gonna, put a website in the bio if you really care, if you want to know what that is. I mean, why don't you? It's not difficult to click a link and go, I'm so interested now. Anyway, a lot of information. I do recommend you visit the websites that I'm going to put in the bio. Been very interesting for me. I don't have any old coins, but if I come across some, because I plan to get a little like beep, 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 metal detector, I'm really serious about doing that, because there are old coins that we don't even understand the value, right? So the time period, and I'm going to mention one more thing, the time period. Everybody wants to say, okay, well, what's this one worth now? And I'm like, well, it's a 2017 or 2018, so not really more than the price of silver, even though I paid more than that. Imagine if I keep this very, very perfect coin that's in absolute perfect condition, vacuum sealed, with an identification number from a company that's not going down anytime soon. I don't care what happens to the dollar. We're going to create a new currency. But in 100 years, my kids will give this to their kids because they're going to know and they're going to understand money. In 100 years, if they have this still like this, it doesn't matter anymore, except for the fact that it's U.S. mint. But it doesn't even matter so much what's on it. It does and it doesn't. I know collectors are going to pound me on that. Go for it. Get me in the comics. But what matters is it's really old coin and it's in perfect condition. And it's backed by the United States government. Okay? Now, that being said, some that aren't backed by the United States government might not be worth so much money. So, anyway, coincidentally, the letters for the PDS system that Alan Herbert created are also the letters for our main United States mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. I don't know if that's interesting. One more thing, there are subcategories to these three larger categories of planchet errors, die errors, and striking errors. And those would be off-center strikes. You can probably guess what that means. Overdates, who knows? Click the link, right? And multiple strikes. I bet you can guess that one. So anyway, go check those sites out. Comment, like, whatever. I don't care if it's good or bad. Just show that you're interested, just more than just watching. And if you find this interesting or find this, useless, I'm happy with all of that. I want you to subscribe. I want you to keep learning. And I appreciate you. And I challenge you this week to teach me something about collecting that I either got wrong on this video or didn't mention that's important to you, or maybe we just all didn't know. I would love that. I love to learn new things. Thank you.